So life begins at the end of our comfort zone, a very famous quote by Walsh. There are a lot of self-help books on how to get out of our comfort zone, a lot of motivational speech to do the same. But what if you excitingly, voluntarily, happily get out of your comfort zone? Booking a trek is exactly like that. I must applaud the marketing team of outdoor company in India these days. In just 15-second lucrative Instagram ads, they take you to a wide wonderland, and you just can't wait to be that Alice in Wonderland. And the trek is booked. It is said that trekking is like a mental therapy. It is good for our mental state. Why is it so? So let me take you to our journey out of our comfort zone into the mountains. It all starts with the reaching to the base camp, where you meet me, and I do the briefing. It starts with my introduction, that why I qualified to be your outdoor leader, and that you're safe in my hands. Then I ask about you, why are you here, and why are we doing what are we doing? The reasons mostly are, friends were sitting together, they wanted to go on a vacation, they saw this ad, and they booked the trek. Or they were going through a breakup or a change of job, and they wanted some time for themselves. Or they wanted to do a rapid weight loss. And the last one, the most interestingly, they wanted to find the love of their life into the mountains. And here we reach. My briefing also includes the route ahead, the mountain manners, L&T, that is leave no trace, and how to pack their bag. Even after constantly reminding to pack their bags light, they always overpack because they want to wear different clothes on different days. They need pictures for their Instagram. And then we hit the trail. The trek starts with a lot of excitement, enthusiasm, but in just 20 seconds, they all are tired. And the self-doubt comes. Why did we even book this trek? Why do people come on mountains? Why I'm here? And why even I pack this fancy backpack? So here, we are in a state of doubt, and we have entered our fear zone. This is a very crucial part of our growing and our learning when we enter our fear zone. The first day also means the first night in the tent and first night in the sleeping bag. Imagine, now finally after the tiring day, you're sleeping in your cozy, warm sleeping bag, and there's the urge to pee. You have to open your warm sleeping bag, wear your shoes, get off the tent, and go in the extreme chilling weather to return the nature's call. In cities, you don't even know when you're going to the washroom. This is how the mountain works. And the first day ends. By the second day, your body is acclimatized. Now the grass is greener again, mountains are attractive again, and you are a bit more comfortable. It is said that in mountains, we share our deep, dark secrets. Why is it so? What happens in the mountains? Are the mountains casting some spell on us? When we're in the mountains, we share a common goal of completing the trek, which is non-competitive. Here, there is no race, no one is coming first. We have to reach that goal together. So when we have a common goal, there's a safe environment that is non-judgmental. And then there's a sense of belongingness. When we truly feel that we belong to a place, sharing happens. The outburst of emotions happens. This is what I like being in mountains, that we feel that we belong here, and we share everything we have. During my starting days of my work, I was mostly in J&K and Himachal, never been to Uttarakhand. Then I got this very first opportunity to work in Uttarakhand, and my very first trek was Kedarkantha trek. I hope you must have heard about it. It's a very famous trek, overly crowded. I didn't want to go there. Firstly, I didn't find it challenging enough. Secondly, it was on New Year's, and everybody wants to trek on a New Year's. But then work is work, and now I was standing at the base camp with my group, who has covered the distance from growth, fear, and now they were in the learning zone. When we're in the learning zone, we are ready to know to what is now ahead. And the summit work usually starts in the night, middle of the night at 2 a.m. because the motive is to reach the summit at the sunrise. My group was all motivated. We gathered our stuff, we started walking. Crossing through the forest, we reached a point where my group was really tired. They didn't want to walk at all. But from there, they could see that people were disappearing into the thin air. So they asked me, Racy, is it the peak? I just gave them a smile. I said, let's go and check it out. They took my smile to be affirmative. They thought that is the peak. They gathered all they had, and they were like, okay, we will reach the peak. We started walking slowly, because in mountains, as we go up, the pace goes slower and slower. As we're going to high altitude, and let me tell you, in mountains, the time goes by hours. It is not in minutes. So after an hour, we also disappeared into the thin air. And we're standing there, and my group is not happy, because that was not the peak. This is a very common phenomenon in mountains, where we see false height. And they were utterly disappointed, because they had just given what they had, and now they just cannot walk anymore. I'm a very strong believer of challenge by choice. I like to beat the force of motivation and not to force. So here I gave my motivation speech, that it is not every day we are coming into the mountains. And it must be our last 1 hour of a whole trek. And we have done so much of a hard work. Look down there. Do you want to go back to the all hard work you have done? That worked. My group decided to go up. This is what is a magical point of no return in experiential education, where you decide to go up, and there is no looking back. This time my group said, we're not going to look up. We're just going to walk. I checked their oxygen level. They all were physically fit. It's the mental strength they needed, and now they have it. Started walking very slowly. They didn't look up at all. And if you're going to Kedarkantha, there are people crossing you. They're walking, and they're like, okay, come, let's go. Pace up. And my group was like, they're breathless and like, just let us walk. Again, after an hour, they could hear happy voices, something on the top, and people were cheering. They looked up, and they asked me, is this the peak this time, Racy? I gave a bigger smile. I said, let's check it out. But this time, they knew that this is the peak. The pace grew faster, and all you wanted to see the sunrise on the top, for which we all had signed up for. And of course, it was New Year's. And we reached the top. Everybody's reactions were different. One was shouting with joy. One had tears in her eyes. Someone just sitting there and thinking what just had happened to them. They had unlocked their version 2.0. But something changed in me as well that day. I covered my distance from being an outdoor educator to an outdoor facilitator. I also entered my growth zone as they were entering their growth zone. I didn't want to come on this trek because I didn't find it challenging enough. But it was not about my journey. It is about their journey. I'm here to facilitate their peak experience, the point where they feel transference, where they have an overwhelming experience and they go back with a new version of themselves. I sat there thinking that, yes, today I can say myself that I'm an outdoor facilitator. We sat there, enjoyed the sunrise, and we went back happily, content, and we reached the base camp. The last day of the trek is very important for me because this is where I conduct my debriefing session. Debriefing is important for me because as in the very first starting I asked, why are we doing what are we doing? They had different goals and concepts of why they're on the trek. But today, it doesn't matter they lost weight or not, they found love or not, whatever the job, the love breakup, they don't care. They discovered themselves. They are a new version of themselves, and they just want to share it. The courage they didn't even know they had, the stamina, they didn't even know it's in them. It was there. And now they can go back to city life and face their problem for now, because now in their growth zone, and they have to carry it on. They have to keep it in them, and this is why debriefing is important, to talk about it, to self-reflect on it. Debriefing is also important because there are some times, I remember there was this one girl who didn't talk on the full trek at all. She was just quiet, walking. I didn't force her because, again, I said I'm a believer of challenge by choice. But this day, on the debriefing day, she had so much to share. She was a solo trekker. She was fearful in the starting. She was scared. She didn't know if she will be able to complete the trek or not. But today, she had done it, and she wanted to share it. So here, the emotional things happen. They share their journey, how they were, and now how they are. So this is how the trek ends. And I can strongly say that, yes, trekking is good for our mental health, and it is cheaper than therapy. Thank you.